Back for a second round of questions. Mr. Chair.
Senator Hoeven.
Mr. Chair, I'm just glad I could be here to help balance things out
Oh,
for you.
I'm so happy you're here.
So,
Looking forward to this.
well, I knew you would be. Thanks to all of you for being here. I've got to start with Mr. Gatesmeyer. I don't know if anybody's mentioned it yet that you were a four-year member of the University of North Dakota's outstanding swim team, and that you received a BS in electrical engineering, double E. So obviously a jock on campus, and obviously managed to get a electrical engineering degree. Pretty impressive. Then went on to reasonably good schools, although not as good, to get an MBA in Fort Collins and an MS at Berkeley. So I just wanted to make sure people were aware of your impeccable and outstanding credentials. Probably if you'd have had something in West Virginia in there as well, it would have been trifecta. But seriously.
Now you see why we're happy he's here?
Yeah. He and I were governor together for about 10 years, so we go way back.
Way back.
Way back. But seriously, let me start with Mr. Folk, and that was serious, but I did want to welcome you. Mr. Folk, in your testimony, you say that EPA has finalized new power plant sector regulations, and I quote, which could hasten the pace of plant retirements and diminish reliability, end quote. At the same time that FERC is saying we expect to, we need to increase electricity over the next 5 years, increase it. So don't we need to be focusing on dispatchable resources 24/7 to provide this additional electricity? I mean, it's not going to magically appear out of thin air, right? So aren't we on the wrong track, and don't we need to have EPA work with our baseload industry to make sure we can meet our electricity needs, and we're not like some third world country with blackouts and brownouts, which have already started to happen?
Yeah, I agree with you. I love seeing renewables on the grid, but you cannot substitute 24/7 dispatchable generation. And in fact, if you look at the queue right now, the generation queue, it's, I think, 2.6 terawatts, which is more than double the existing capacity we have on our system. But if you look what's in those queues, Senator, over 95% of it is non-dispatchable generation.
What was the percent?
Over 95% of it is less than 5% of it is dispatchable 24/7 generation. So we absolutely need to hang on to what we have.
I heard you the first time. I just wanted to make sure everybody else did too.
We absolutely need to hang on to what we have. And the EPA rules will, I believe, will hasten the retirement of the dispatchable generation we have on our grid today.
Okay, who wants to disagree with them and why? Let the record show that nobody disagrees. I think that's pretty important. Now, from the user side, Mr. Gatzmeyer, I don't know, is dependable electricity important at all in your business, or do you think it's important to anyone else?
It's incredibly important, and I know it's important to all semiconductor manufacturers. Minor interruption, milliseconds, can cause our factories to go down for a week and cause, millions, tens of millions of product loss. So incredibly important. And our factories run 24/7, 365 at peak output operations. So we require, the base load to meet our demand.
So would you argue it's vitally important in terms of our economy being competitive in a global economy? And would you argue it's important for national security as well to be able to generate energy for ourselves and our allies?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. I would guess any other thoughts on how we not only maintain but increase our base load from any of you that would like to respond to that? Mr. Mills, sir.
Senator, it's the fastest way to increase power supplies, because we're talking about demands that are occurring in the next few years, not decade. It's not things we don't know how to build, but things we know how to build. So the fast construction of dispatchable power will come from gas pipes and gas turbines. That'll be the primary source of new supply. This will be true in the United States, almost every state, and it's also true in Europe. It's what's happening around the world, but especially here.
And would you agree that American technology and ingenuity is driving improvements to environmental standards at the same time that we're producing energy on a low-cost basis and on a dependable basis in this country, and that's a better approach than regulations that shut us down and force it to get energy from other countries?
You know the expression that the question answers itself, sir.
Good. Well, I really like that answer. So again, I want to thank all of you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator. And now we have